Hi students, a very good evening to all of you. I am Professor Dr. Anurag Agrawal and this is OSN Academy of English since 1998. It was a great blessing today students that after a lot of effort which we all did as a teamwork and efforts which our students made by twittering, by making some comments at Google and YouTube, and because of that we could get our channel back today in the morning. So students, देखिए मैं हमेशा सिखाता हूँ इस बात को कि अच्छे चीज़ का अच्छा नतीजा होता है. So once you are honest, once you are a dedicated person and you have full honesty in your system, in your dedication, God also helps those who helps themselves. So with the case of OSN Academy, this stands true that this academy is a place, is a temple of education where we only believe that we have to give students the best, which I have been teaching, nurturing students since 1998. And we all know students that everything, everything about future is uncertain. There is no certainty about anything. We have seen the best example of COVID-19. But one thing is sure that
It's
God
9 o'clock.
has planned all our tomorrows. हमारा गॉड ने सब प्लान कर रखा है कल का. वी हैव टू ओनली ट्रस्ट हिम. हमें सिर्फ उनके ऊपर ट्रस्ट करना है. एंड दैट इज वाई आई ऑलवेज टेल स्टूडेंट्स दैट हैव फेथ इन योर टीचर, हैव फेथ इन योर गुरु, हैव फेथ इन योर पेरेंट्स, हैव फेथ इन पीपल. देन ओनली यू कैन राइज अबव समथिंग. अगर आपके मन में डिस्ट्रस्ट होगा, आपके अंदर फेथ की कमी होगी, आपके अंदर डिसऑनेस्टी होगी, then I think that people don't get that level of success. So students, trust. जिनके ऊपर भी आपको ट्रस्ट करना है ट्रस्ट करिए, but trust with full faith. And I heartily welcome you all once again to our OSN family, which is a beautiful family of students of English and other subjects as well. And one thing more, before starting my class of Samuel Beckett, I would also tell you something that remove some words like jealousy, like hate, like revenge, greed from your dictionary all ever in your life. And apart from these negative words, what words you have to put in your dictionary, in your entire system, in your mind? Love, care, compassion, honesty, and satisfaction. At the place where these negative things are more in the society. And what will happen, students? All these positive things will ensure you that you will always be leading a great life and a guilt-free life ahead of yourself. With the blessings of Sai Baba, with the blessings of God, with the blessings of all over people, we have been successful after a week or so in bringing back our channel from the YouTube, and now we have again to cover the new milestones in the national level, pan-India. And today it is true that OSN Academy stands as one of those premier educational landmarks in the country where people have so much faith in the quality education. So we offer our students a really, really stress-free learning platform and a never-ending journey. आज मुझे 22 साल पढ़ाते हो गया, आज भी मुझे पढ़ना पड़ता है, आज भी मुझे अपने को नर्चर करना पड़ता है, and that is the only reason I am able to give you the best. So students, work hard, work smarter, and become something so that you can make proud your people, your parents, your teachers, and OSN Academy too. So students, with this aim, I wish all my students should make their careers, and all of you are most welcome to the OSN family for turning dreams into reality. Fine, students? So, yeah, in the meantime, so many students have said a good evening. I'm really blessed. I'm so happy that today so many students were devoid of my lectures in the last 10 days. And today, once again, I welcome you all in this OSN family, Purushottam, Divya, Mahima, Adarsh, Saras, Kaushal, Priya, Nikita, Dheeraj, Shehnawaz, Anshu, Purushottam, and other students too. Sir, hello, my friend has also lost his ID. How do you get it, please? I am not able to understand, Deepshika. You can WhatsApp me. You can WhatsApp me all your problems. Nitin Charu, Shaman Priya. Good evening, all of you students. So today, why I have taken Samuel Beckett, concentrating on Waiting for Godot, and the reason is that many students from Pan India, especially from South India, they requested, and even my IAS aspirants requested me just to give some tips of Samuel Beckett with my experience of teaching of 22 years. And we all know, and even I know, that all of you must have read Waiting for Godot, all of you must have read Samuel Beckett, but you will actually feel something better, something more of nourishment, something good after completing this class once you listen to my lecture, what I am trying to portray, trying to give you in this Samuel Beckett Waiting for Godot in a very unique style, and in a very style which will not only help a BA student, even it will help the same as to the IS aspirant and to all the competitors as well. Jay Prakash, good evening. Adarsh, welcome, good evening. And all of you, once again, good evening to all of you. Fine. So, before starting this lecture, before starting this Samuel Beckett, I would just tell my aspirants, the new students, the old students who were not knowing OSN Academy and who have been knowing OSN for the first time, the new batch I have started today. The online video classes, the new batch I have started today. So today was the first day. You can join the classes, and for the IS aspirants also. And yes, yesterday, day before yesterday, I have given many messages to the students regarding the Zoom classes. But yes, Zoom classes is something which is one-to-one interaction both ways. And we sit together like we are sitting here. But in case you are not comfortable, no issues. We will only go with the online video classes as I have been teaching past 3 years. So no issues with that. But it was a choice for the students. So, but still, if you are not comfortable, online classes is much better for all of us. So now, Waiting for Godot में students, सबसे पहले हमें समझना होता है, and just open your mind while sitting in this lecture. Why? Because it will not only help you for the examination, it will also help you to give a lot of good answers in your interviews and while even you are teaching. See, before starting with the Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett, we all know that we have to deal with the word which is known as absurd. And what is the meaning of absurd, students? You can say some dictionary meaning. पहली बात तो हम लोग समझ लेते हैं. Dictionary meaning क्या कहती है absurd की? That is something stupid, something which is unreasonable. And if we talk about in a musical context में अगर हम बात करें, तो इसका मतलब होता है out of harmony. आउट ऑफ हार्मनी, जो चीज हार्मनी में नहीं है, जो चीज लय ताल में नहीं है. बट द डेफिनेशन एब्सर्ड derives into the literature from the mid 20th century essay, and that is myth of Sisyphus. And who has written this myth of Sisyphus? It has been written by the French author philosopher Albert Camus. Albert Camus ने लिखा है myth of Sisyphus. It's a very important work, students. And in 1962, Martin Esslin wrote his book on the topic, which is entitled as The Theatre of the Absurd. And this book, The Theatre of the Absurd, by Martin Esslin, mentions the Romanian and the French dramatist Eugene Ionesco's definition of the absurd. They have also defined the definition of absurd in a different way. And what is that definition, students? A very important definition to make you nurture, to make you understand better. See, उन्होंने क्या बोला, students? You can even note it down. What I remember is, absurd is that which is devoid of purpose. Devoid मतलब जो चीज नहीं है, जो चीज किसी पर्पस में कम है. My Hindi is not very good, but I'm trying to explain it in my way. Absurd is that which is devoid of purpose, cut off from his religious, metaphysical, and even transcendental roots, and man is lost. All his actions become senseless, all his actions become absurd, and all his actions become useless. So, this is the definition of absurd by the Romanian and the French dramatist Eugene Ionesco, which is mentioned by Martin Eslin in this book. Fine. Now, Waiting for Godot is a story of time. समय की ये story है, students. I'm trying to explain in a very, a storyline structure, so that once ever you go for it, you can understand that how to get the relevant matter and to the relevant content which goes into your mind and blood. कभी भी आपसे कोई पूछ ले, you can answer it. So, Waiting for Godot is basically a story of time. समय की ये कहानी है, written in the form of absurd, set during 2 consecutive days. 2 consecutive days में ये पूरी story students बनी है, and you must have read also, but the 2 main characters are awaiting Godot's arrival. And you will be surprised to know, students, that who is Godot? To your knowledge, for your knowledge, for writing your answers. Good, get better marks. Godot is something which is abstract. Godot is something which is obscure. Godot is something which we cannot touch, we cannot feel. It is like a subconscious thing. And it is also true, students, that every identity in the world has some Godot in his mind. क्या आप सपने नहीं देखते? क्या आप बड़ा नहीं बनना चाहते? क्या आप पढ़ना नहीं चाहते? क्या आप मकान नहीं खरीदना चाहते? क्या आप अच्छी गाड़ी में नहीं चलना चाहते? क्या आप अच्छे कपड़े नहीं पहनना चाहते? क्या आप अपनी शादी को अच्छे तरीके से नहीं करना चाहते? This can all be Godot. Somebody's Godot may be career, somebody's Godot may be food, somebody's Godot may be to roam around the world, somebody's Godot may be to get love out of, you can say, nurturing of the love of the girlfriend and the boyfriends. Fine. So we never know. Somebody's Godot may be money, quest, lust, anything it can be. So try to understand this drama, that these 2 drams, they are awaiting for this Godot arrival. And nevertheless, Godot's continual absence, हमेशा देखिए absent रहता है, Godot आता नहीं कभी. His total absence in the drama actually wastes the time in the lives of the trams by making them the living puppets in the world of absurdity, in the world of absurdism. So what happens? They simply say, let it go waste. Let it go waste. Instead of, finding an appropriate way to spend it. And students, if you see this entire world in the today's scenario, and you see people who are young, the age of 18 to 22 or 18 to 28, they are actually feeling the same way what Samuel Beckett has written 70, 80 years back. Can you imagine? They are not having that appropriate way to spend it. And Samuel Beckett's intention in creating these characters, these trams, may have been to make them the victim of time. It is true कि आज हमारा जो जवान जनरेशन है वो किसका विक्टिम है? समय का विक्टिम है. So Samuel Beckett had in mind to create something which made these trams the victim of time, pointing out that we cannot stop time. हम समय को रोक नहीं सकते हैं. And therefore, the dramatist suggesting that we live in the present moment with what we have instead of waiting for the better lives or what we don't have. इसको हिंदी में कहेंगे स्टूडेंट्स कि हमारे पास जो है हम उसमें खुश रहें, ना कि ये देखें, ये वेट करें कि ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा, तब हमें खुशी मिलेगी. No, it is not like that. And this COVID-19 actually has taught us that what we have in the present moment in our hand, that is much better than two in a bush. A bird in hand is better than two in a bush. And this is true that this drama is actually very, very, contemporary. बहुत ही समकालीन है. समकालीन का मतलब होता है हमारी जिंदगी में जो आजकल चल रहा है उससे बहुत मिलती है. इसीलिए मॉडर्न प्ले है, एंड यू कैन इवन से इट इज ट्रू ऑफ द पोस्ट मॉडर्न एज. एंड सैमुअल बेकेट सेज दैट द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ अ पास्ट एंड फ्यूचर इज एन इल्यूजन. ये जो कंसेप्ट है ना, पास्ट का, फ्यूचर क्या होगा, ये बेसिकली बच्चों एक इल्यूजन है. इल्यूजन है. एंड येट द प्ले सीम्स टू बी ओनली सेट इन द प्रेजेंट. इल्यूजन तो है, लेकिन लगता है कि ये प्ले जो है प्रेजेंट में सेट है स्टूडेंट्स. एंड however we can also say that the present does not seem to have a fixed beginning or end. जो ये प्रेजेंट है ऐसा हमें नहीं लगता कि कोई इसका बिगिनिंग है, कोई एंड है, समथिंग लाइक दैट. एक सेकंड, जस्ट होल्ड ऑन. या मीनिंगलेस, व्लादिमीर एंड एस्ट्रोगॉन. या करेक्ट. गुड इवनिंग शैली. अनु खट्टा, गुड इवनिंग. आदर्श सलोनी, यस. रिडिकुलस, विमल राज, करेक्ट. फाइन. Good evening. So students, you keep on messaging. I will revert all your answers, but the lecture is more important. Fine students, so concentrate and keep on messaging. I will revert back to you. So हम लोग कहाँ पे थे? We were discussing this. Yeah, we were discussing the concept of the past and the future, which is considered to be an illusion. And in spite that it is an illusion कि हाँ क्या होगा, the play seems to be only set in the present. ऐसा लगता है कि ये present, ये जो stage है, ये जो play है, ये आज का है. However, the present does not seem to have a fixed beginning or end, and the play seems to hold its audience in a kind of limbo. And स्टूडेंट्स, एक टेक्निकल इशू मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं स्टूडेंट्स, कि जो भी स्टूडेंट्स हमको यहाँ देख रहे हैं, जो चैनल पे हमारे हैं, वो तुरंत पढ़ते पढ़ते एक काम कर लें कि आप तुरंत इमीडिएटली अनसब्सक्राइब करिए और तुरंत अनसब्सक्राइब करके तुरंत सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए. इट इज़ बेसिकली फॉर द प्रॉपर नोटिफिकेशन टू रीच यू. क्योंकि चैनल हैक हो गया था, 10 डेज तक वो लॉक था, तो कुछ टेक्निकल इश्यूज है, वो सॉल्व हो जाएंगी अगर आपने तुरंत उसको अनसब्सक्राइब करके और तुरंत सब्सक्राइब कर लिया. तो ऐसा इमीडिएटली बच्चों कर लीजिए पढ़ते पढ़ते. And we are also doing some security measures so that it may not happen afterwards. So students, please unsubscribe and immediately subscribe. Fine students, thank you. Now come back. So क्या हुआ students, इस play में time जाता रहा, people become sick, and what happens? One day we eventually die. And सच्चाई ये है, the truth is that time stops us. Therefore, we can say that no matter how hard we try to succeed in our lives, कितना भी हम कोशिश कर लें अपनी जिंदगी में सक्सेस पाने के लिए, all our achievements are buried with us as time survives unchanged. And in an instant, all will vanish and we will be alone once again in the midst of nothingness. हमारे पास कुछ नहीं रहेगा. So why to worry when We have come here without anything. We have to go here from here without anything. So such a beautiful, the concept in this play, and a very good, possible solution to this would be to get the path of eternity. And this path of eternity would be presented, represented by whom? By nobody but waiting for Godot means Godot. Yes. And this idea of eternity, that is an escape from death, death se hum bhagte hain, is also commented by a great scholar and a critic. I'm not able to remember the name somewhere, but I have read somewhere, किसी ने comment किया है इस पे, that death as a final ending, as a final silence is absent from the play. किसी critic ने इस play के लिए लिखा है students quote unquote में that death as a final ending, as a final silence is absent from the play. And this also suggests that if the tramp intention, अगर जो tramp का जो intention था is to find the way to eternity through whom? Through Godot. अगर tramps को ये इच्छा थी कि वो eternity तक पहुंच जाएं, and the ladder will be through the Godot, and if they are certain, अगर उनको ये विश्वास है that Godot is able to guide them, अगर उनको ऐसा लगता है कि Godot is God, Godot is somebody who can hold the fingers and go away with them to guide them, it would be advisable to invest their time in that hope. तो ये advisable है कि वो अपना समय उसी आशा में बिताएं. लेकिन in reality में क्या होता है? It proves to be the most absurd investment, students. आप अपने जिंदगी में भी इन बातों को ख्याल रखिएगा, और जो मैं इस बात को इस प्ले के माध्यम से बता रहा हूं, आप इसको चेक कर सकते हैं. If you are investing time with some hope and some Godot in your mind, and suppose if you are wasting that precious moment for something better to come in your life, you are hoping against the hope. And it is quite possible that you may land nowhere, you may land at nothingness, and it proves to be the most absurd investment, and a whole life which is spent waiting for someone who is mysterious, whom we don't know, that person will come to me, he will rescue me, he will give me money, he will give me food, he will give me Mercedes, he will give me a car, he will give me a makan, he will give me a wife, and blah blah blah, and he will save me from all the dangers of life. जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं, एक बार बहुत पहले एक टीवी सीरियल आया था, मुंगेरी लाल के हसीन सपने. डू यू रिमेंबर स्टूडेंट्स? तो मुंगेरी लाल क्या था? ही इज अ सिंबॉलिक फिगर, एंड हम सब कहीं ना कहीं मुंगेरी लाल होते हैं कि हम सपने देखते हैं. सो दैट इज द थिंग विच इज ऑल्सो हियर इन दिस प्ले. सो ये जो हमने आपको आर्गुमेंट बताया, मेरे ख्याल से आपने वेटिंग फॉर गोडो को शायद ही इस एंगल पे पढ़ा हो जिस एंगल पे हम आपके साथ डिस्कशन आज कर रहे हैं. So this argument which we are discussing is very indispensable for all of you. तो ये इससे क्या हुआ बच्चों कि इससे ये प्रूव हुआ that the tramps do not live in the present moment. वो present moment में नहीं रहते हैं, और आज के हमारे जो बच्चे हैं वो भी फैक्ट है कि present moment में नहीं रहते हैं. And instead of enjoying the present time, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आज का जो प्रेजेंट समय है उसको एंजॉय करिए, नहीं तो ये समय निकल जाएगा और आप इसको याद करते रह जाएंगे. दे आर वेटिंग. और स्टूडेंट्स, डोंट फॉरगेट टू प्रेस द बेल आइकन इमीडिएटली. पढ़ते पढ़ते प्लीज प्रेस आइकन दबा दीजिए, क्योंकि मुझको बच्चे अक्सर कहते हैं कि सर नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आया है. तो आपने अनसब्सक्राइब करके सब्सक्राइब कर लिया होगा और बेल आइकन को प्रेस कर दिया होगा, उसको तुरंत कर दीजिए स्टूडेंट्स. And yes, so one should always enjoy the present time, and they should not wait for something good to happen. हो जाता है अच्छा है, नहीं हो जाता है और अच्छा है, but always be progressive. And they are all excited that Godot will come along with some time and will come with wonders, will come with miraculous activities, and they will save the situation, which is also written in the theater of the absurd. I still remember students, व्लादिमीर में ओरिजिनल टेक्स्ट में कहीं लिखा है tomorrow everything will be better, because I have read this play, the original text, when I was in at your stage in my post graduation. Still I remember that lines, tomorrow everything will be better. This is a sentence by Vladimir, and this sentence was said by Vladimir because the boy said to them, God was sure to come tomorrow. God को तो आना ही है, sorry, Godot will come tomorrow. Godot is sure to come tomorrow. मतलब उनका ऐसा विश्वास था कि Godot तो कल आएगा ही. And time could be identified as another major character in the play. तो जैसे ये major characters हैं, तो एक character समय भी है इसमें. Means time is also, you can say, could be identified as another major character in the play. And since the tramps have nothing else to do in their lives but wait for Godot, so they have nothing more fertility, more nurturing, more nourishment to get. And the idea behind this waiting is that to let the time pass on its own, and instead of using it, it is harmless. कोई नुकसान तो पहुंचा नहीं रही है. आपने देखा होगा कि वेटिंग फॉर गोडो में ये जो दो ट्रैम्प्स हैं, व्लादिमीर एंड स्ट्रोगॉन, व्हाट दे आर डूइंग, कभी वो पेड़ पे फांसी लगाने की कोशिश करते हैं, कभी बात कर रहे होते हैं, कभी अपने शूज़ का लेस को बांध रहे होते हैं, खोल रहे होते हैं. दिस इज कॉल्ड द बोर्डम ऑफ द कॉन्टेम्पररी यंग पीपल, एंड they don't like the present moment, and the only thing we have to do is to wait and nothing. For example, students, if we do not like the winter time, suppose करिए कि हमें winter पसंद नहीं है, then what we do? मन में सोचिए मैंने क्या क्वेश्चन पूछा है कि सपोज करिए बहुत लोग कहते हैं यार मुझे जाड़ा नहीं पसंद है, बहुत जाड़ा हो रहा है और प्लीज गर्मी आ जाए. So what we do? We have to wait for summer. As we are waiting, and we can even look forward by fantasizing what a wonderful summer it would be. और जिनको विंटर्स पसंद हैं वो फैंटेसाइज करते हैं कि हे भगवान जल्दी से गर्मी चली जाए और लेट द विंटर्स कम. They have nothing to do. They have just to wait and fantasize the things which they don't possess at that time. And these tramps' excitement to meet the mysterious Godot, the Godot which we don't know, which we don't recognize. हमें पता भी नहीं कि Godot है कौन. But yes, because it is mysterious, he or she or it may be a representation of man's fulfillment, man's desire, man's lust, man's anger, man's hunger, anything to fill the time between the birth, between the death, and both the things with some meaningful ideas. And this period of time often could be the continuation of endless hope which connects the beginning, the birth, to the end, and that is called the death. In the waiting for Godot, it seems, students, that the tramp's hope is Godot. Tramp का hope क्या है students? उनका hope सिर्फ है Godot. And they continue their lives, अपनी जिंदगी को बिताते रहते हैं with the hope that they will come and meet Godot because they believe that they will be saved. उनको पता है कि उनको बचा लिया जाएगा अगर Godot आ गया. However, if they did not have the hope of meeting Godot, they may already have taken the action of suicide. उनके पास और कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. और देखिए कितना कॉन्टेम्पररी प्ले है स्टूडेंट्स कि आप सुबह उठते हैं, अखबार देखते हैं, मोबाइल पे इन शॉर्ट्स में न्यूज़ देखते हैं, टीवी खोलते हैं, दिन भर में कहीं ना कहीं आपको ये पता चल जाता है कि आज किसी यंग लड़की ने, किसी यंग लड़के ने सुसाइड कर लिया. Now now just try to imagine those those young boys and girls who are committing suicide, irrespective that they have everything in the world. They are not dying of hunger. They are dying of more passion. They are dying of more money. They have everything. In spite of that, they are depressed because that money, that glamour, that power, that pelf, everything is not giving them, satisfaction, that pleasure. that, that the feeling of 360-degree, and they commit suicide. So now you can imagine with what thought, with what subconscious level of understanding Samuel Beckett must have read this play and must have written this play. And these tramps who are waiting for Godot, they try to find something to do in order to pass the time. And the suggestion of suicide is actually tragic. And yet, the audience receives it at a comic one. It is very important कि ये जो सजेशन है सुसाइड का अपने आप में बहुत ट्रेजिक है, लेकिन इसको जो रिसेप्टर है, जो ऑडियंस है, वो बहुत ही कॉमिक तरीके से उसको रिसीव कर रही है. और देखिए, हमको याद है कि व्लादिमीर ने प्ले में कहा है कहीं पे, व्हाट डू वी नो, व्हाट डू वी डू नाउ, हम क्या करें. गुड इवनिंग शशिकला. Okay, students, done. Good evening. Maima, done. Good. All those students who have not unsubscribed, please unsubscribe the channel and immediately subscribe the channel and press the bell icon who have joined me at a later stage in this class. Fine, students. Good evening all of you students. I am sure you would आपसे थोड़ा बातचीत नहीं हो पाई क्योंकि मैं जब पढ़ाता हूँ तो काफ़ी इंग्रॉस हो जाता हूँ पढ़ाने में, और मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है कि अगर स्टूडेंट्स को अच्छा लग रहा है तो मुझे आई फील डबली ब्लेस्ड. सो हाउ डिड यू फाइंड दिस लेक्चर स्टूडेंट्स, क्योंकि ऐसा लेक्चर मैं क्लासेस में या यूनिवर्सिटी में या जैसे इस तरह पढ़ाया जाता है, सो काफ़ी डिफरेंट तरीके से मैं स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ाता हूँ. इट इज़ नॉट वन स्टाइल, इट इज़ सो मेनी स्टाइल्स विच द आई फॉलो फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम. जैसे आज हमको डिटेल्ड स्टडी करनी थी तो ये स्टाइल अलग हो जाती है. सो बच्चों, आपको कैसा लगा? आई होप यू. सो टू कंटिन्यू हियर, हमें याद है स्टूडेंट्स, व्लादिमीर ने ओरिजिनल प्ले में लिखा है व्हाट डू वी डू नाउ, हम क्या करें. तो एस्ट्रोगोन कहता है इस पे वेट. सो व्लादिमीर जवाब क्या देता है? यस, बट व्हाइल वेटिंग, मतलब इट इज अ क्वेश्चन मार्क. तो एस्ट्रोगोन बीच में टपक पड़ता है तुरंत, कहता है व्हाट अबाउट हैंगिंग आवरसेल्व्स, अगर क्या कहते हो अगर हम लोग अपने को सुसाइड कर लें, हैंग कर ले पंखे से. सो व्लादिमीर इसका जवाब क्या देता है? यस इट गिव्स अस एन इरेक्शन. यस, सोच के लगता है. एंड एस्ट्रोगोन बड़ा एक्साइटमेंट होके कहता है एन इरेक्शन. सो माई मीनिंग इज स्टूडेंट्स दैट एक तरफ तो ऑन द वन हैंड इन दिस प्ले Beckett also has used some humor as a vehicle to explain, to capture the attention of the audience also, helping man to understand the importance of time in his own existence, कि समय की कितनी वैल्यू है. आप याद रखिए स्टूडेंट्स, मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ, मैसेज पे भी आपसे बात करता हूँ या क्लास में भी कहता हूँ कि समय जिसने गंवाया उसका बहुत 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 परेशानी होती है. सो ऑलवेज टाइम इज वेरी प्रेशियस, and those students who follow this thing, they are actually blessed. So आगे हम लोग बढ़ते हैं. द ट्रैम्प्स का जो आशा है, जो होप है, वो ये है दैट गोडो विल बी द सेवियर. गोडो कौन होगा? गोडो विल बी द सेवियर टू ब्रिंग कंफर्ट इन देयर लाइव्स. गोडो आएगा, हमारी जिंदगी में खुशहाली लाएगा, खुशी देगा. और एस्ट्रोगोन उस पर जवाब देता है, क्वेश्चन करता है, इफ ही कम्स. तो व्लादिमीर रिप्लाइज करता है, yes, if he comes then we will be saved. So after deciding against the idea of suicide, they select the act of waiting. कि चलो ठीक है, अच्छा सुसाइड नहीं करते हैं, हम लोग वेट करते हैं. And in the very the first sentence of the play, Astrogon states, nothing to be done, which concludes with the idea that the tramps may wish to spend their time doing nothing. And this also, becomes certain when Vladimir insists, quote unquote में play में आपका लिखा हुआ है, I am beginning to come round to that opinion. And throughout the play, students, they come back to the same conclusion. And what is the conclusion? Nothing to be done. Nothing to be done. And during the second act, if you go to the second act, when they try to remember how they had spent the yesterday, he means Astragon memorizes for yesterday, कल को याद करता है, and the last पुराने दिनों की उसकी ज़िंदगी उसको याद आ जाती है. So this is how we proceed in this class, in this lecture, and in this way only the IAS aspirants or the UGC net aspirants or any scholar of English literature must study from the core of the subject to understand the vitality, the importance of the subject matter. Fine. So ऐसा लगता है students that the tramps who had an idea of wasting time on these baseless activities, on these ceaseless activities, on the activities which are not going to pay them anything is irresponsible, is totally irresponsible as far as we compare those things to reality. And therefore what happens, जो audience देख रही होती है, the audience doubts whether the tramps are actually aware of their time, क्या उनको पता है कि समय की कितनी वैल्यू है, and the way they are spending it doing nothing. So in this way what happens that Vladimir's consciousness comes to light in his dialogues. And what are those dialogues? We wait, we are bored. We wait, we are bored. No, don't protest, we are bored to death. And that is why they chose waiting for Godot, because it wastes their time, and it wastes their time more coherently. And a lot of diversion comes along, बहुत सारे diversions आ जाते हैं, and what we do, we let it go waste. And all these things students suggest an awareness that the time, that the meaningless routine, as Beckett concluded in his study of a person known as Marcel Proust, P-R-O-U-S-T, उसमें उसने लिखा है that habit and routine were the cancer of time. He has written in the Theatre of the Absurd, something, I don't remember the page. So it is clear, students, now that time has a very important role play in the play, because time actually highlights the idea that the present moment had already become part of the history, and the time does not regenerate. And when Astragon complains, nothing to be done, Vladimir क्या कहता है? Vladimir insists करता है, be reasonable. You haven't yet tried everything, and he is disappointed by Astragon's forgetful memory. Astragon does not have memory for the past events, उसको past events याद ही नहीं रहते. So what happens? He explains himself. That's the way I am. इसी प्रकार के हैं हम भाई. Either I forget immediately or I never forget. या तो हम भूल जाते हैं या तो हम कभी नहीं भूलते. Fine. So yes, students, any messages from your side? Any questions, students? Anshu, Saras, Kavya, Priyanka, Saundarya, Mahima, Hardik. Welcome to all once again to our OSN family. I hope Deepti Nayak, moral of the story, यू हैव टू टेल मी द मॉरल ऑफ द स्टोरी सर, थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बता दो प्लीज़ सर। मैं हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स ही पढ़ा रहा था। हिंदी एक्चुअली में आई डोंट फाइंड यू नो द the words which have to be replaced in place of English. So that is the problem. And once you are an English literature student and wish to become an assistant professor in English, always remember कि English literature को हिंदी में नहीं पढ़ा जाता है स्टूडेंट्स, ये बात हमेशा ध्यान रखिएगा। So Amber, okay, yes. Deepti, are you the same student who had messaged me day before yesterday for joining something, if I am not wrong? And yes students, आपने unsubscribe करके सब्सक्राइब कर दिया होगा, प्रेस बेल आइकन दबा दिया होगा, एंड इवन इफ यू वांट टू फॉलो, अगर आप लोगों के पास इंस्टाग्राम होगा स्टूडेंट्स, तो हमारा जो इंस्टाग्राम है दैट इज OSN Academy 98. You can follow me on OSN Academy 98 and get some good descriptions there also. You can enjoy my Insta. And last but not least, stay safe, stay healthy, be very cautious in this corona time. Sit at home, study good, and qualify this exam, qualify any examination what you dream of. If it is English literature, OSN Academy is always with you. If you have any doubts, you can comment, you can like and share this video. You can with a lot of your friends, your classmates, your juniors. अगर आप एक बच्चे की मदद करते हैं तो ऊपर वाला आपको ऑटोमेटिक बहुत मदद करता है. It is written somewhere in the meditation books, and I strongly believe in this thing. That is why I help through and through to every student, because when I will open the windows for you, automatically lot of windows will be opened by God. And see what happened. जब हमने प्रॉब्लम में आए, देखिए मैंने एक वीडियो बनाया, मैं बहुत दुखी था, ऊपर वाले ने सुना, आपके प्यार ने हमको साहस दिया और हमारा चैनल, हम लोग का चैनल वापस आ गया. Fine students. So I will just give you my phone number here. You can note it down. I don't think so, Kavya, that anything is written in absurd. I have not searched actually that what are the latest works in the absurd, but बहुत बड़ी दुनिया है, ऐसा हो सकता है कि लिखा हो. दीप्ति, आपने बेटा जवाब नहीं दिया. You did not answer my question that are you the same Deepti who had messaged me day before yesterday? Fine. So this is my number, students. You can WhatsApp me, you can call me. And yes, today was the first day of the online video classes with the entire sessions and with the video test series. So those students who wish to be a part, they can feel comfortable to join and get along with the nurturing of the good product, the good assembly of things, and which will not only make you a sensible student, it will actually make you competitive conscious. आपको बहुत competitive conscious होना पड़ता है. Any more questions students? थोड़ा बातचीत आप लोग कर लें. ओके दीप्ति, आप वो स्टूडेंट नहीं है जिसने हमको मैसेज किया था. फाइन, आई एम सो सॉरी दीप्ति. हो सकता है जो दीप्ति से हमारी बात हुई है वो कोई और दीप्ति हूँ, बिकॉज द नेम इज़ वेरी कॉमन. हो सकता है कि आप वो ना हो. सॉरी फॉर दैट. एनी मोर क्वेश्चन स्टूडेंट्स? तो you must have liked this concept of the detailings of how you get the details and the subjective angle of the Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. It was not this lecture was not designed for basically the optional mode which I generally take, but it was to understand that how to manage these things, how to answer, how to study, and how to make your intellect more sound. Any more questions or no questions students? So should we end? Okay then. सर मुझे एक स्टोरी का मॉरल जानना था. This is not a story. This is a actual, play. Waiting for Godot. इसका moral ये है that time is very precious, and anyone who has killed time, the time kills that person. इसका ये moral है, यही इसकी स्टोरी है. तो टाइम इज़ वेरी प्रेशियस. आप स्टूडेंट्स हैं तो आपका टाइम बहुत प्रेशियस है, आप उसको गंवाएं ना, उसको प्रॉपर अपने ड्रीम के तरफ जाएं. और कोई भी वेटिंग फॉर गोडो जैसी चीज़ को सोच करके ये समय मत खराब करें कि कल ऐसा होगा तो कल ऐसा होगा. सो स्टूडेंट्स, बहुत अच्छा लगा एक बार चैनल आपके साथ फिर बात करके, और इसी प्रकार से वी विल बी इन टच विद ईच अदर. And thank you so much, and have a good day, have a good night.